Hi, everyone. Jessica Paquette, joined here with Amanda Chance. Now, those of you weird horse girls like myself, big fans. We've been following your blog for years, watching you chronicle your adventures with your off-the-track thoroughbred Henry, and then watching as you bred, raised, and developed a really lovely event horse in Presto. And now there's a new addition to your herd. Tell me who joined the crew.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough I feel like I was picked to be the next person for Ruby Blue, who has raced 100 times, mostly in Pennsylvania. He's a really, really cool horse, so I feel really lucky for them to have picked me to be his next person.
And we've all been such a fan of Ruby Blue here in Pennsylvania for years. 100 starts, almost $1 million in earnings, and he did it all the old-fashioned way. So tell me how you got picked, how he picked you, how it all wound up that he's now in Florida.
Most people that kind of follow the thoroughbred rehoming groups kind of understand this. Like you're never really looking, but you're never
Oh, I know.
not. I'd really wanted like a war horse, the kind of horse that would be like an ambassador, good work ethic, athletic. And it was one of those things where I was scrolling and I stopped and I was like, oh man, like I really like that one. And I read his ad. This is an older horse that has a really good fan base. Like we'd love for him to have social media and like a following, and we want updates. And I can be very annoying if you want updates. But it just felt like his ad was literally targeting me. I loved his pedigree. I'm a big pedigree nerd. And his trainer friend requested me, and Fidelia was like, can you just send me like a little bit about yourself for them? Because they were being very particular about where he was going to go, which is fantastic. So I sent them what felt like a job interview, kind of like a resume. A little bit like about me personally and like my social stuff and my job and like my horses. And then a couple days later, Cassie messaged me and she was like, do you have time for a phone call? And I ended up talking to her for an hour and a half, talked about horses, talked about him, talked about my horses. And, it was just an easy conversation. At the end of the phone call, she was like, I think you sound like the perfect person. And I was like, oh, I was very like honored by that. I thought he was a really special horse.
Sometimes when people are shopping for horses, they'll see 100 starts or they'll see a horse his age and want to run screaming for the hills. I'm like you. I like a good war horse. And tell me why that doesn't bother you.
We've seen so many. There's so many examples of war horses mid-level, even top level. There's a couple at 5-star that have raced more than 50 times, even 70 something. If a horse has been well taken care of and raced for that long, especially very consistently, like he did, I think his longest gap was like 4 months or something like that. Come out the other side looking good, feeling good. They have a good work ethic. They must be built well. They've got to be, nothing I'm going to do with them is going to be harder than racing. So if they can stand up to that, I think that's the best case scenario.
But tell me how Ruby Blue has settled in, because sometimes these war horses that have had a job all of their life, they get on the farm, they go, what is this?
Yeah, he is very confused by it still, but the great thing about him is they don't get as far as he did without being smart. He's not going to do something stupid, but within the first couple days, I was like, he's not going to do anything that's making me worried. It's so funny because he'll like take himself on walks in his paddock and he'll just be like, time for walkies. And he'll just go like a 10-minute power walk.
So what is the plan for restarting him with the restrictions? For those folks that don't know, the horses can only have 10 rides prior to December if they're going to compete the following year. So
Yeah.
you're left with a lot of time to kill.
There is a lot of groundwork stuff that we can do. I like doing the groundwork stuff. I think that'll occupy his brain a little bit. I might take him just tag along for cross country schools or to lessons or something, just so he kind of gets off the property with something to do. I think I can keep him occupied, but I am going to have to be creative about it.
And what are your goals with him, RRP and beyond?
To me, he's a walking, talking event horse is what he looks like. He's got swagger, he's athletic. The way his neck comes out of his body is like, he looks like a Bernardini, all the ones that I know and have seen, and his pedigree has a lot of eventing blood in it, as far as if you're coming at it from a sport horse perspective. The Bernardinis have been very successful, and then the Irish on the bottom with the perfect soul. So I think his instincts are promising from what I've seen so far.
So if people want to follow your journey with him or follow all of your adventures with all of your horses, where would they do that?
There's a few places. So Ruby Blue has his own Facebook page now. So if you search for Ruby Blue, obviously the blue is spelled Bleu. He has a Facebook page that I'll post regular updates on. I have my own Instagram that is at Breed Ride Event, all one word. And then I have a blog that is breedrideevent.com.
Well, I'm so excited to follow along, and we're so glad that he wound up with you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited.